Bluey. It's part of the song. That's what I can think of at the moment.
That's fine.
Is it possible to lose followers?
Yeah, probably. I'm not sure I'm your demographic, really, am I?
That is not a compliment. Right.
We shall see. Anyway, let's start. Let's begin. Hello, everybody, fans, listeners, subscribers. Welcome to the Rain and Pain podcast, episode 4, with me, Harry Lightfoot, your host, with my co-host, with his Rasen shirt on, Charlie Gray, over to the left.
Yeah, I dressed up for Lord Pridgeon.
Yep.
And our guest, hang on.
Oh.
Messed up, haven't you? And our guest today, Will Pridge. Pridgeon, Lord Pridge. How's Will?
Very well, thank you. How are you both?
Good, thank you very much. Good, thank you.
Overweight and underpaid, but apart from that...
I'm just overweight.
The better of the two problems.
Yeah, very good.
Perfect. Well, we'll dive straight into things, Pridge. We don't like to wait about. We don't want to waste too much of your time. So we'll start with some simple questions, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to start with a little statement with Pridge had a long, profound career. How many years were we playing rugby, Pridge, before retirement?
What, as in just for Rasen or as a total?
Yeah, let's go total.
Bloody hell. Actually, I only started playing rugby. I did an under-9s and actually played football for 6 years. And actually went back to Grimsby at 14, 15. So probably not as long as you guys or most people who play rugby from what, 5 now? So yeah, actually, what's that? 20, 30 years? 20 years? Yeah.
30 years? You're not that old, are you?
Yeah. No, it is though, isn't it? Yeah. It started in 2004 at 14.
The maths is not right there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll maybe stick with 20.
We'll go with 20.
Okay, perfect. I'm reflecting on your career, Pridge. How was it?
Do you know what? So coming on this has actually made me, I guess you have a bit of a, reminisce, don't you, of your time. And I generally don't know what I'd have done without rugby, really. Like, absolutely loved it. I have got to travel the world playing rugby. Met some amazing people, friends for life. Obviously accumulated some shitty injuries along the way. But it's just an unbelievable sport. And I think certainly when you come out the back end of even just amateur throwing a ball around, like, you realise it's just how good it is. And I think that's probably, I don't want to steal another question, but a big regret is when you're in the mix, do you know what I mean? You're mid-20s, you're invincible. I don't think you can really appreciate how good it is. Like, you tell me another period of your life where you will spend a Tuesday, a Thursday, a Saturday, sometimes a Friday, sometimes a Sunday morning with your mate every week, week after week after week. You just won't, like, unless you're a professional athlete or a professional player. Sorry, I've waffled on a bit.
Or a professional nose, yeah.
We don't mind waffling on your Pridge.
Yeah. No, it is amazing. It is.
And how's retirement treating you?
Do you know what? This is weird. So a lot of people say this as well. I actually feel worse having stopped playing rugby than when I actually played rugby, because I think you just accustomed, aren't you? Your body's always going to be there or thereabouts, because if you're training twice a week, playing once a week, you're not going to be that unfit. And even if you are, you're still relatively mobile and you're just doing stuff, aren't you? But as soon as you stop, like, fuck, meniscus off the bone, just feel unfit. Yeah, it's all actually some worse. Yeah. But.
So now we're going to, at this point, we like to shout out our sponsors as well. So I know we don't have a background there, but Will Pridge is actually sponsored by Strapper's Mighty Walk-In 15. So Pridge is actually doing walking rugby and is the face and the poster boy of walking rugby. He is out with an injury at the minute. It's a fast-paced game, but shout out to the Strappers slow 15. Right, you said about traveling the world. Then this is an impromptu question. This is just how good we are at interviewing, I suppose. You said it was you got to see the world playing rugby and travel around. Favorite tour, favorite abroad moment?
Oh, bloody hell!
Good question.
Great question.
Because I mean, I've travelled everywhere. We're talking N, L, and D. Been to Nottingham, Lincolnshire, bit of Derby. You know, very, very, very nice.
So I actually wrote some notes because I wasn't sure if I was going to remember all this. But I've gone Turin, east coast of Australia.
Very nice.
Brisbane, Sydney, Adelaide, I can't remember, or Cairns, South Africa, Cape Town. Obviously, my international highlight and only cap in the British Virgin Islands, may I add. Big game against Puerto Rico.
Score sheet?
Yeah, I don't know. South Africa's like a different world. Unreal. Training at the base of Table Mountain. They just live and breathe it. It's just unreal. But once again, to try and pick out of those is, it's very hard, and I've been very, very lucky to give that a go, really. But and obviously the Caribbean was pretty nice. So Turin, good one, Turin. So I used to go to a gym. They called it a gym. You know, Kennick, you know, the spa. It used to have like a little box of a gym just outside of Laos. Anyway, back when I used to actually lift weights at like 17, there was a bloke, some Welsh bloke, was doing some work, God knows what, around here. Anyway, he was organising a trip to Turin with some of his Welsh mates, and he was a couple short. So he was like, "Oh, do you fancy a trip to Turin, lads?" Sat school off for a week at 17 on the bus with the lads. It's pretty impromptu, and just got to go with the flow, haven't you? So that was just some random Australia, NLD, South Africa, Nottingham, BVI just worked out there.
Nice.
So nothing with Rasen. I went on tour to Coventry with Rasen.
Brilliant.
That didn't make the list. Cornwall, I went with Grimsby. I went to Cornwall, which was very good actually.
I did Devon.
Grimsby. Alaska? No, Alaska.
No. No.
You've been rehearsing all these, haven't you?
Well, that was an impromptu question, so it must be an impromptu joke.
Yeah.
Favourite tour song?
I don't actually know if this one's got a title, but the Hey Sarah Sarah one, the one where we hate Lincoln. You must have heard that one.
Yeah, Dave Starling busts that out on, I think it's Dave Starling that's got that one down. Yeah,
it's a firm favourite. It's a good song and quite notable that we do hate Lincoln, so it's, we're not lying.
I don't play geopolitics, but I'm Switzerland.
No, neither do I, to be fair. I get on well with quite a lot of Lincoln lads, so...
Don't clip that out, Harry. Get that online.
No. I mean, I don't really partake in all this fucking bullshit, but I would quite happily have a beer with anything there. Yeah, sound people.
Well, moving on away from you and yourself, we'll dive into like teammates and things. So, good question is, who's the best captain you played under and why?
Dave Starling. 100%. Just understood the game, and not only understood the game, understood I think sometimes we do kind of miss this, but the management of the game, the management of referees, the management of opposition, being able to see what the opposition are doing, how we need to react to that, all the little nuances, not just getting a fucking huddle, call Rasen after 3, like that's probably 1% of being a captain, like just being able to adapt on the pitch. And he was very, very good at that, and obviously a great player as well.
Big shout out to Dave Starling, who last Saturday I received my first ever compliment from Dave Starling. He said it wasn't after watching 80 minutes of rugby, I will point out. We were a few beers in. He went, "That podcast's all right, isn't it?" So thanks, Dave. This one's for you.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah. No, I was happy with it. I was happy with it. I was celebrating.
Yeah, I'd say that.
So shout out Dave Starling, who says he's an avid listener. He's one of our 4 listeners.
Killer superstitions, Pridge, before you went out on game day?
Not at all. Not at all.
No.
Rubbish.
Moving on. I'll clip that bit out. Sound.
Sorry, the only thing got to be taped up, certainly as you get older. Fucking ankles. Yeah. Not really superstition, more.
I'd even not just say, so I, for the first time last Saturday, strapped my shoulder. Never had it. No, I've never gone out. I strapped my wrists and I strapped my fingers, got a bit of arthritis. Never worn shoulder pads, never worn anything like that, just raw dog in the games. Sam strapped my shoulder up because it's a bit wonky. He strapped my shoulder up. And when I was hitting people, and I was like, this is so much better. So I would also say, boys, don't wait till you're old to do it. Get strapped up.
Yeah.
It's good. It's got to be done properly. That's all I would say. You get it done badly, you just won't do anything.
Yeah.
And that's why we're very lucky to have Sam. A great addition to the club, may I add.
Indeed. Good physio.
Do you have any superstitions?
No, I just walk around the pitch by myself.
He walks around the pitch looking for divots so he doesn't fall in when he's running up the wing or whatever. When he's getting outpaced by Doug and has to chase Doug down, and don't want to fall down any holes.
Yeah, and now I'm a 4 out of 4 conversion rate kicker. I need to walk along the 22, make sure there's no holes for me to fall in whilst I'm taking my boot.
Yeah, you kick well, as the stats showed.
Thank you.
I mean,
Eldridge, I'm coming for you.
Yeah. I mean, be interesting to see when you're further out wide. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, not within the 15s.
Yeah, if you're not in front of the post, you should be all right.
Yeah.
The amazing thing about Tommy kicking, right, is not that he's a good kicker. The amazing thing is that he can do it, because after scrummaging, honestly, you get out of, especially like on a game like Saturday where we went essentially for a couple of periods in the game, we were going from scrum to scrum reset to scrum across to scrummage again. It does take out your legs, especially like front row, and it takes out your legs. And the fact that he can still step up and kick after that is compliments to Tommy Aldridge.
Yep,
yeah, he's very good, very consistent.
He is.
Pridge, favourite? This is an impromptu question. I've been enjoying some of your, from one shit chatter to another, some of your very good hyperbole in the match reports. There's been some very nice metaphors. How does one get into that writer's mind?
I don't really know. Like, I mean, I've done a handful, but I mean, I probably wouldn't have time to do it every week. But yeah, I just think you've either got it or you haven't. And I think I'm borderlining dyslexic, so the spelling and punctuation is probably not the best. But yeah, and you just got to call a spade, haven't you? I guess it's either something's very good or it isn't. But and make sure you're politically correct. Obviously, which was pushing the boat with the Chinese firework factory, but hey, I mean, I'm sure there's a stat out there to say how many fireworks are produced in China. I'm sure it is a lot.
And Pridge, who was the toughest opponent you've ever faced? Is there a big man, a guy who stands out over the years of playing from a different team that just caused you hassle all day?
So once again, I've been very, very fortunate to play. I don't really know how, against some actual legends. So, playing against Manu, playing against Courtney Laws. Yeah, I mean, the lesser known.
Okay, let's go counters. Midlands counties
players. Oh, Midlands counties. I mean, Pavs used to have a good team. Pavey. He used to play like with George Billing, who's 10, very good. Phil Eggleshaw played 10 years at Notts. Now coach /8 at Pavs. I mean, these guys are like another level. They're not, do you know what I mean, throwing ridiculous offloads, running 50 metres. They just hit hard, turnovers, and just manage a game.
Do the basics.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes I guess that's what's frustrating watching is that they've got so much talent, like your Lloyd, your Will Days, your Hughes, everyone who can run through people, and then it's like throw a wild offload or throw a fucking ridiculous behind the back, and when they would just go down, recycle, hit up, and go. So
As a special player yourself, Pridge, did you ever throw any accidental backdoor offloads that didn't go to one's hands?
Not that I recall.
100% passing rate.
Yeah, I probably have thrown some offloads, but yeah, not on par with what was it last year. I got it on film as well, and you deleted it off Instagram, which has got to be fine. But what did you throw? You threw some ridiculous offload, and it got either intercepted or it went to deck, and they ran through and scored.
Me or Charlie?
Yeah.
Mate. You keep putting me. What, me? You've been on Instagram and deleted that video. Don't be at me. What,
No,
it's not to me.
It must have been Spen.
Believable.
I don't delete things off Instagram.
It was definitely you, but I can't remember who it was again.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're on about, but I'm not going to confirm it. So
we'll have that on next week, Bridge. Don't worry. We'll put it up midweek on the next week's podcast.
Do you have like a really big standout game or most memorable moment within your rugby career? Before we get to the fun ones. Sorry, Charlie.
I thought I was already having fun, but yeah.
At Rasen, would have been what, 2014, my first year back. Yeah, we had some hell of a games, like playing Kettering. I remember beating them 19-12, scoring a try, probably 10 minutes to go. Yeah, stuff like that was brilliant.
Yeah,
it was,
the close games that you just get over the edge on.
Yeah,
and if you're it makes it a bit sweeter.
Yeah. So we had some great games in that season. Obviously some great players, and certainly at Rasen, we had some hellish wins. It was and against some teams that are now probably a League 2 plus higher now. We punched pretty hard. Yeah. But naked basket was after.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Sorry, allegedly. Well, you could do it back then without anyone crying. So
that was before, sexual abuse was bad.
Yeah, and the old social.
Thought it was bad.
Social media. I mean, 2014, people probably on Facebook, weren't they? But Instagram probably wasn't really a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd keep your job if you got naked online, so not so much now.
Yep. Just to point out that we are an inclusive podcast.
Yeah, we do mention that every week. We're an inclusive podcast. We are pro inclusion. So we talk about a lot of topics. We talk about them all with love.
Yep.
Very good.
Especially those damn. But they're the only people we don't joke about.
Who's that, sorry?
And we make sure we never ever joke about them.
I get you.
It took Pridge so long to get that. He's like, who's again?
We shoot from the hip round here, Pridgeon. Let's say switched on, boy. We're gonna go back one. We're gonna move on.
Yeah.
What was the most recent game you watched of the current team?
Well, it would have been. Who was your last game that I?
Mansfield.
Yeah, that I did the stats for, which was
very good. So thoughts on the last game, thoughts on the current team, what we got, what have we not got, what's missing, what's good, what's bad.
So I said this to someone when we went to go watch rugby on Saturday. You know, when you watch a game, I think your brain automatically always looks for the good elements.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? You'll see someone make a break, you'll be like, oh yeah, Harry's great breakers. But until I did the stats, and you watch it, you write it down, you watch it, you write it down, you actually realise, fucking hell, some people don't do anything. I'm literally...
Call them out, Pridge. Call them out.
Yeah, no, I won't do that. But I obviously messaged you, Harry, didn't I? And it must have got to half time, and I think you made one tackle. And it was like 30 minutes or something, and you made a run just before half time. I'm like, mate, you haven't done anything. I thought, but until you go back to you actually watch the game, you would never pick it up.
4 from 4 though on kicks.
Yeah, I got that obviously, but
you didn't watch the second. This is just first half.
Yeah, we're only 30 minutes into my synopsis here, and but you would just remember Harry doing a really good run, blah blah blah. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously great win, but I think to get to that next level, like, just broad brush, carrying needs to be spread out. More people need to carry. And that's forwards and backs. Like, Angus and Cookie put in a massive shift, certainly Cookie and D, and Angus carried well as well. But I think a lot of people, certainly over the years, you look at Pryor, who, fucking God, how many carries does he get through a game? And like, people are getting older, and I know people have conversations during the game, and he's like, oh, come on, you need to carry more. But these guys are fucked. Like, they must be fucked after 70 minutes. Like, and you do see that on the video, but then you actually put that to stats and be like, well, that's why they're fucked, because they've made 10 tackles, they've made 10 carries, and these are hard carries. These aren't like I'm not saying it's an easy carry, but like Liam on the wing and he makes 50 metres and maybe gets tackled once. This is like carry into 3D, fight, couple of metres down, recycle. So yeah, like the pattern's really good, but I think
more people just need to do more.
Yeah, and it's not as in like, I don't want someone to run 50 metres, throw a ridiculous offload, kick over your head and go score a try. It's like, it's the shit stuff, and going back to like Pavs and stuff like that, it's the shit stuff of just carrying, sucking in D, and then give you boys out wide the space. Yeah, like it's just thankless task, but the more you put on less players, the harder it would be. Like, and like I said, I wouldn't have ever realised that until I did that and properly analysed like what was going on. Because you'd have come away and gone, yeah, 31-5 win, fucking brilliant, lads. You know what I mean? Like, but actually, if you'd have probably played like that against, I don't know, a Hinckley or a Belgrave, and that's probably the difference, the couple of point difference that you've missed all season. Do you know what I mean? We lose by one, and that's the fine margins where you kind of spread that. That's probably turned into a win, isn't it? Like, it's, yeah. But the team as a whole, I think, once again, I was thinking about this last night, like, you are so lucky to have Cookie, so lucky. Like, you ask any, like, Crowe, me, Fred, who have gone through, like, the early 10s, do you know what I mean, 2013, 14, mega team, punching above our weight, and you go into, like, 17, we lost every game, fucking 18, we were getting hammered, and we had no real direction, and you've got such a great setup. Honestly, you don't know how lucky you are. I am so envious that I am not playing in your team, or at least trying to play in your team, be part of that setup. Because Eddie Timmins, director of rugby, steering the tanker well, Cookie is a coach, unbelievable, personable, gives a shit. Like, you have everything to do really well.
Yep. Agreed.
Young people, Colts coming through. We had, like I said, between probably 17 and probably COVID, I don't think we even had a Colts team. Do you know what I mean? And we got, yeah, and that has a massive effect. Like your Will Days, your Ollie Scotts, your Lloydies. Like, they make a massive difference.
100%.
One, because they stick around, and two, like, you can rotate players with competition, and then put that in with decent coaching. Like, yeah, you are so lucky. But you are, I personally, underachieving.
I think that's fair. I think the only thing I would say, and I know it's maybe not I may be splitting hairs. I think a lot of us do realise how lucky we are, especially with Cookie and with the whole setup we've got. Because, so obviously, I get in the van with Cookie a lot to come, and just how much he talk, like even just small things like, number one, how he talks about it, treats everyone fairly, treats it, he's, you know, not political, but then also he's stepping up and playing as well, which is obviously doing it when we're short in those positions as well. But yeah, I would say shout out on behalf of the podcast. We do realise how lucky we are, and we just got to. It's a good point that Cookie makes as well. The head chef makes when he talks. He's like, "We're putting all this effort, lads. All we need to do is throw shoulders in on a Saturday." Like, that's kind of. And to be fair, they have set up an environment where you can a little bit, as long as you rock up to training, and you rock up on a Saturday, you kind of know what you kind of know what you've got to do. So that's a good environment. No one's worried about.
But so on the flip side of that then, so obviously I hear what you're saying, but do you think your performances reflect not you personally as a team, do you think your performances as a team reflect that attitude?
I think it goes hot and cold on something. So at the start of the season, for example, we had loads of rotation, and I don't think you could really see like Cookie's mentality and all the training that we're doing like stamped in on the team, because there's loads of rotation. We've got people, you know what it's like in farming season at Rasen. There's people missing, this is out. We've got a couple of concussions. We've got this is in, this is out. So that's probably been tough. I would say some of the performances reflect it, but the position in the table doesn't. Because if you watch like the Belgrave game, we should have won that game. If you watch that Hinckley game, okay, we're 6 points off them, but they come with a good side out.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
And we ran them. We ran them away. Because Stephen away, like we just were rubbish, to be honest. That there we're rubbish. It's what you're talking about, the nuances before about the game management and stepping up a bit and so yes and no. I think
and I think that's what, sorry to interject, and I think that's probably, I certainly find hard as like someone who gives a shit and wants you to win, and I'm sure Cookie feels it, and loads of people feel the same. It's like, you watch that Hinckley performance, like if you perform like that against Kesteven, Nuneaton, Belgrave, you would have probably won.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we find hard, is like you see what you can do. And it has been a bit of a trait, certainly over the last 8+ years, of like, we have so many talented players. We've always had talent. Talent's never been an issue. Application and results has been our issue. And like, that's what we find hard to see, because we know what you can achieve. Like, and I'm sure Cookie feels this 10 times over, because he's the top man. Like, so what I guess my question is, so what are you guys going to do to make that happen? Like, what are you going to change? Because,
I think a big one's a bit more grit. I just think the things like, so even in like Starlo points this out, Chris Starling points this out all the time in the fort, and obviously we get the benefit of having 2 coaches really, because we've got obviously head coach and we've got forwards coach, which none of the backs don't really get. So we get specialised work as well. And all Chris bangs on about, and he's correct to do it, is, lads, you've got to be grittier. Like, you can't be. So if we talk about, I don't know, if we're doing scrumming practice, it's fine to laugh and joke before, but we've got to be like, switch on and just being a bit nastier. And even in training, like, not being bothered about getting on at each other. And if someone does something, like, stick it to people a little bit more. Like, because we got a bit of that. I remember when I first came to Rasen, I kind of got the tail end of those glory days that you're talking about, Pridge, where Dave was still captain, and Chris Starling was captain, and then before I went away, and like training sessions there, Tuesday night was just violence. Within the forwards, it was just Tuesday night violence. It was like, there's no, do I need my gum shield? It was like, you can bring it or you can not bring it, but that is we're about to do what we're about to do. I remember one training session we did this is a Chris Starling special in the try zone. Okay, so you go from touchline to touchline in the try zone, starting 8 versus the 3 subs. And you're just going to do pick and go. That's all it is pick and go, and they're going to latch on. So you just start with the first contact. You put on the defending team, guard, post, and one lad who's on the floor from, being in the ruck. They're going to come around they're not allowed to pass it. They're going to latch 2 on, come around the corner. You're going to bang each other, see who wins that. Guard, post, and bang until they score. And we did that for probably, 45 minutes, and then went, all right, nice lads, back to the clubhouse for a pint. That was training. And to be fair,
it works.
Like small-sided, high contact. No, not like high velocity contact, but just being nasty with each other as well.
Yeah, and it's hard. Like, certainly when once again, the game has totally changed in the last 10 years. But to try and get into that headspace of where you need to be. And I'll open my hands up. Like, it's something I always struggled with. Like, yeah, I'm just not a violent person. Like, it takes me a lot to get angry. Like, but if you don't practice that, it's hard on Saturday. Like, to get in that headspace, you need to find a method to get in that headspace. And if you're not doing that Tuesday, Thursday, and probably rightly so now because of the evidence that's been brought out in rugby, blah, 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 like you can't be doing that every Tuesday, Thursday. But there's got to be a mechanism for you guys to be able to transition that into Saturday.
Yeah.
But you're 100% right. Like I had a chuckle to myself the other day about this. So I remember you going to training once, and I think we just played a game, contact game. Anyway, I cleared Chammy out, which don't normally hit many rucks. Anyway, pretty good clear. I fucking got up, started like trying to punch me, swing for me, fucking leadered and runs in like full melee. I just stepped back and kind of let the big boys do their thing. But like it was like part of the course. It was someone fucking cleared you out. You're pissed off. Like I should be better than that. I should have a better position. But it's hard. Like I said, it is hard. Certainly. Yeah, because you don't practice that as much.
I think the key point as well is some people like looking at it. Some people think nasty or strong or physical. You don't have to necessarily be big and nasty and physical everywhere. So like there'd be lots of different. Like I think that's probably the advice. So your question is, what are we going to do different? If I was going to speak to everybody on the team and in one-on-ones, for example, I'd be saying, well, where can you be nasty? So you don't need. I don't know, whoever it is saying, okay, you're nasty all the way around. But if you've got like Starlow's nasty in the scrummage, which you wouldn't think that's nasty, but he's nasty because if he gets under you and lifts you up, he's going to keep driving. Or, in the breakdown, well, I can be nasty there. I know I'm physical there. So I know that's where I can, invest a little more energy and go with that. Or if it's carries, or if it's the guard defender, or if it's in the sacking, the more like Will Inman gets nasty on sacking lineouts. If you've got on the deck, that's where he's really nasty, for example. So that would be my advice: is you can't be nasty everywhere.
So waste energy.
Find where it is for you nasty. If it's big Harry Lightfoot on a big crash ball line, if that's where we're asking him to be nasty there. Like go in with venom. And then throw that ridiculous offload.
Yeah, and then go downwind.
Swanee-esque.
Yeah. So yeah. Good combo.
Yeah, no, I do get that. It's hard because I know we say this every year, and I chatted to someone about this at the start of the season. We always set ourselves a goal. I say, well, you guys set yourself a goal. Top 3, top 4. Once again, you read the team sheet and you go, yeah, of course we can do that. Like we should be up there, and it's it's hard, isn't it?
I think we definitely go through like fits and troughs with it. With showing the potential throughout matches, like we have a really good 10 minutes here, really good 10 minutes there. It's about, again, just finding that consistency within the whole team aspect of just pushing each other the whole time to stay at that level for the full 80.
Yeah, I think that goes back to Pridge's point as well about maybe we can sometimes criticize ourselves for is, you're right, Pridge, when we say, okay, we've got players that do this, and we probably box ourselves in too much and saying, okay, well, he's going to do the carrying and he's going to do this job and he's going to do that job. And the problem is then those bigger players or whatever players, sometimes you get criticized and say, well, you didn't carry today. Yeah, you might be doing other things, but we shouldn't. It shouldn't be that if those 2 or 3 players, whoever they are, doesn't carry that much, that changes the game. So like Youngie doesn't carries loads of ball. Okay, Youngie's out because he's injured at the minute. So we've got a decision to make, I suppose, that we should be better at talking about. We've got a decision to make. Do we as a pack want to say, right, everybody needs to make 3 or 4 extra carries a game, that we're all going to take that on and we'll try and plug the loss of Youngie in that respect? Or are we going to dedicate somebody? I think, all right, well, I'll sit there and I'm going to do 15 carries now. But then obviously you need someone to step up and say, well, I'll do your rucking for you, or I'll do your... So we've got to make those decisions as well. We've got to probably realise who's got to do what.
Yeah. I think do you know what? I think that's absolutely brilliant. And that goes back to my original point, at the start of the podcast. When you look at those stats, it was a stark contrast in what people were doing. But the problem is a couple of people did a lot and the other bunch not so much. You know what I mean? So conversation, and that's where we go back to why Dave was such a good leader, blah, blah, blah. Because they would have those conversations, not only before, but on game day. They'd look at the opposition, weaknesses, who's going to carry where, blah, blah, blah. And I think that would massively help, I think. Yeah.
Good combo. I like that.
Yeah. Very, very forward heavy there, which was a bit surprising for myself. I'm sorry, just a quick one on the backs though.
Backs don't do much. No, I'm joking.
You know what? And once again, I said this to somebody the other day, is hopefully you've got a bit of a partnership in the centre. That's always been a bit of a struggle, hasn't it, over the last couple of years, getting consistency. I think we went through 10 different centre partnerships last year, probably.
Yeah.
Different
configurations.
So having, and I'm not saying Cookie probably wants to play every week, but him and Angus, phenomenal. But one thing we 100% need to do, I say we, wingers in particular, need to work more. And I don't know if that comes down to education and coaching and stuff like that, but like a winger, you don't just stay on the periphery. Look at Chris Ashton, always following through the middle. You have to be unbelievably fit to do it. But do you know what I mean? If anyone makes a break, that's why he scores so many tries, because he just trailed through the middle. Our wingers are just so peripheral.
Staying on the wing.
Yeah, one thing we talk about carries and impact on a game, and I said the same to you, Harry, when I was doing that. You look at Joe. He's probably his first impact in the game was probably the 35th minute. And how can you have potential front foot ball at Mansfield and as a winger not go looking for that?
Yeah.
And it's once again, it's those small nuances just to make that extra 10% difference, which will get us a few more tries, which will get us a few more wins. And yeah, but on the whole, that's pretty good, I guess, at the moment.
I think we've got consistency within the backs at the moment, more so than the forwards. So, like I say, we've got that centre partnership. Like back three are usually near enough similar. We've obviously got Eddie and Dougie both in the 9 shirt, which is great as well. So and Spenny at 10 now. So actually getting that consistency and getting a bit more used to playing with each other and finding the right aspects of the game where we can all sort of do our bit and benefit the team in a good way is only hopefully going to come with consistency with playing each other.
Yeah, and defence was phenomenal. Back's defence was very, very good. I thought last game it was, BD against 9% of the teams in the league. They're not doing anything really.
I agree.
Yeah. So that's what I think.
Yeah, good answer, good detail, and it's nice to see. You can tell you care. So it's nice.
Yeah, I love that. I fucking love it. Like I just love rugby.
Coming to Loughborough on Saturday.
No, I don't love it that much. We're gonna watch England in the afternoon, I think.
Of course.
Yeah. Be a similar game. Right, we've talked a lot about rugby. Let's start with, as Harry calls them, the fun ones. We ask this every week now. This might be our thing. We're talking about the Run It Straight challenge. Who do you want to see and who do you not want to see? Running, no steps allowed. You've got a 30-metre run up at each other. Who do you want a shot at and who do you not want to see coming down?
Bloody hell. So this is me involved, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I take a one-on-one with Dougie, I think.
Okay. Gotta get low.
Yeah. But bloody hell! I mean, the list of people who you don't want to run at. I mean, Fry's got to be top of that list, hasn't he? Inman, Youngie, Cookie. Neither is who you're making that list. So.
Former players? Any former players that stick out as absolute nasty people that you don't want to see running it?
Bloody hell!
I know you could name multiple.
Chris Starling, Dave Starling, Millsy. Fucking hell, Coley. Imagine 23 stone of fucking and footwork.
That game Coley played last year against Hinckley was just incredible to watch. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. P. I'd probably back myself against Pete. I think I'd probably back myself against Pete.
Interesting.
Because remember,
call out Pete when Pridge's knee is fixed. That's one for the field.
I think I'll get this right. So I think is force acceleration times mass.
Force is mass acceleration.
Yeah. So obviously Pete's got the force, but the acceleration bit, I just don't think he's getting to top chat to use that weight. So, yeah, set it up next year. Me and Pete on the straight run.
Instead of the Bronco.
Yeah, so foot Bronco.
Run it straight charity challenge coming to Rasen next summer.
Yeah, there's some nasty people back in the day that probably wouldn't slow down. So yeah.
Do you know who I really wouldn't have wanted? You just made me think of a retro call. Do you remember Solid Stu? I can't remember his surname.
Stu Cunningham.
It might be. He played back row.
Yeah. He's another one. Yeah.
He was nasty.
I only played maybe a season with him, half a season with him. He was I loved playing with him, and he was just one of them. Do you know what would be another one? Bobo.
Yeah.
Just one of them people that, like, you know, when you hit him and you're like, I've hit him and he wasn't looking and my shoulder hurts, and I've just not affected this bloke. Yep. They're just mad strong.
Yeah, Stu. I wouldn't get on the wrong side of Stu.
He was like a bag of spanners, mate. Every time he try and hit, I remember once we're in a game, right, and one of their lads has come to clear him out, hasn't moved. It's like one of their little wingers. He must have been like 19 or something like that. And me and Stu have come off the bench, hit him, and like he's not moved. And Stu, he's just got that, like, he's like a seal, like he's just got that death stare. He's just looking at this kid. This kid goes to grab his shirt, and I was like, anybody fight anybody, just don't fight him, just don't bother me. And, it's like, I think the genuine concern in my voice, actually, like the guy's like, yeah, we'll leave it. I was like,
oh yeah, not a guy to get on the wrong side of. That is for sure.
Hit me if you want, it's fine, don't worry about it. But no, I wouldn't. Yeah.
Boy could carry.
Unless your name's Josh White, who tries to fight him on tour, which was a bad decision.
So this is our 15 made out of historical figures. That was the call. So historical greats, historical figures. I don't know if you guys, I went with they had to be real. So you can't use, Greek demigods or whatever, anything like that. So I went with real.
Oh. I don't really know what that is, but you can just tell me if it's not real or not.
Right. Zeus, mate.
Yeah, Zeus, not good.
Poseidon.
Yeah, Harry Potter, not good. Okay, you'll see. Do you want to go first? As a guest. Well, listen. If you want to, do you want to go first as guest?
I can do. We starting from 1 to 15, are we?
Yep.
Yeah, you go through your 1 to 15.
I'm going to go through my full 1 to 15.
Yep.
Yeah.
That sounds so shocked.
So 1, I've gone Henry VIII. Big bloke. You're just not moving him here. Let's be honest. Fucking yeah. He'll bring some beer as well.
Yeah.
Some women. To the after party.
Or
so
lack of.
Yeah.
Depends if they're friends or not. I thought solid number 1 there. Not really mobile, but would do a shift at the set piece, I think. 2, gone slightly rogue, but a chap called Ernest Shackleton, who was an explorer, who sailed the Endurance to the South Pole. He wanted to be the first person to walk across the South Pole. Anyway, great documentary on Disney Plus at the moment. How he survived and his crew survived for 2 years, I think, or nearly 2 years in the South Pole. Absolute fucking just machine animal. I thought number 2, do some business hard. Yeah, hard work. 3, I've gone slightly rogue, but I've gone Donald Trump.
Love it.
I thought once again would offer some stuff to a party, bit of cash to throw for some stash, maybe nimble footwork back in the day, get maybe a scrum cap on to protect his hair. Yeah, do a job. 4 and 5, I've gone brothers. I've gone the Klitschko's.
Oh, that's very good.
That's a good shout.
Yeah, I know it's not like oldie worldy.
Technicality, but we'll allow it.
One's a politician, or was a politician. Done some leadership. Just animals. Tall.
I think that's good. I like that.
Doing the line out. Number 6 is Alexander the Great. Undefeated. Never lost a battle. Obviously, he won't have a horse, but he would do a job at 6, I feel. 7, another rogue one, but a chap called Paddy Mayne, who was a founder in the SAS. Apparently a fucking animal. Absolute animal.
It's a great show.
So look at him, research him. Just wild, fucking wild. So he'll do a job at 7. 8, I've gone slightly modern again, but I thought good leadership, good low centre of gravity. Zelensky, the Ukraine president.
Yeah.
Seems a decent bloke, pretty sizable, likes a scrap.
Yep.
Yeah.
And fares quite well in a scrap, according.
Good counter-attacker, I've heard.
That's my pack. And then 9, I've gone Napoleon, 5'2", nippy. Decent distributor of death over some wars. 10, hands down, Nelson Mandela. Ultimate leader, great bloke.
Yeah, great vision.
Yeah, I think you would follow him anywhere. Sound mind, good decision maker, and probably could shift a bit back in the day. 12, I've gone Berlusconi, the Italian Prime Minister, I think.
Yeah.
/ AC Milan owner / whorehouse provider, massive party man. That is solely why he's in the team, and he's once again probably do a job at 12, quite sizable. Not going to move him, but mainly for his partying and his providing of
social 12,
on the night out. 13, I've gone Obama, not dead, but he will shift. I can imagine running some decent lines at 13.
Yep.
14, I've gone slightly rogue, and I've gone for more of a Nandolo winger, but I've gone Boris Johnson at 14.
You've seen him tackle that Japanese kid.
That's what made me think of him. So I've gone 14. He can do some hard running, carries, help Berlusconi and Obama out in the centres. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shifting. 15, I've gone Gandhi. Slightly rogue choice. I don't know anything of his sporting ability, but he seemed lean. He seemed like he could move. Once again, solid under pressure and decision making. I haven't got an 11 though. I couldn't think of an 11, so
that's fine.
That's my 14.
Allow it.
I'll go this week, Charlie, if that's all right.
Yeah. Sorry, someone's keen.
Well, yeah. I'm keen. All right, sound. Number 1, loose head prop, Henry VIII.
Actually,
yeah, indeed.
I've got him as well.
Yeah, I think it's a great shout. Absolute fantastic shout. Hooker, I went Winston Churchill. I've tried to go on.
I fucking told you that earlier. Yep. You absolute.
You said 6, so I put him as Hooker.
But he's not my 6, really. That's fine anyway.
I've gone same level on around across my front 3, and number 3 I did go Boris Johnson instead of a winger. I thought it's a bit more of a pudding than a winger. But number 4 I've gone Abraham Lincoln. He's a big boy, 6'4", I believe. And coupled up with him, I went Nelson Mandela.
In the row, bloody hell!
Yeah.
Wow.
I couldn't put him anywhere else because I'd already made my team because my locks were my final positions. Anyway, number 6 I've gone still alive, but big Vlad Putin, black belt judo, can probably turn some ball over at blindside flanker. Number 7 Genghis Khan, leader of men, leader of battle.
Nice. Good shout.
Tear some shit up. And number 8 I've got my captain, newly elected President Donald Trump. He's going to throw some bombs at people at number 8, I'll tell you that for a fact.
Hey.
Bloody hell.
That's my pack. captain, leader of men. Number 9, I went Mother Teresa. She looked after that ball like she looked after them kids back in the day. Safe option, I think. Safe as houses. Number 10, fly half, Julius Caesar. Good thinking man. Can think ahead. Orchestrate the game quite well. 11, I went Robin Hood. Maybe a technicality, but a bit agile. What are you shaking your head for, Charlie? What was that shaking head for?
I really like that. Robin Hood's real.
You've got him as well, haven't you?
Move on, mate.
I've just named Charlie's team, I think. 12, 13, I've got Cleopatra and Albert Einstein. Bit of thinking, bit of brute force.
What, Cleopatra?
You've seen her?
She's taking a good carry, is she?
Yeah.
She'll be good in the pass after anyway, mate. She'll be fine.
Number 14, right wing, I've got Stephen Hawkins, because you don't want to be tackling wheelchairs on a rugby pitch. I feel like that could be dangerous, just with his little... Anyway.
Again, we'd like to point out during an inclusive podcast.
Yeah, we're an inclusive.
Of course, inclusive. Yeah, amazing. Good shout out. And finally, fullback, I went for a thinking brain with Sherlock Holmes. Pick out the gaps. Pick out the gaps. Pick out the gaps. Just said that 3 times, but yeah.
Yeah, quality, mate. Yeah, great.
Perfect. That's my 15. Charlie?
All right, I'm up. There's going to be some beats here. Going last was difficult. Right, number 1, I put Churchill in at number 1 for his body shape and again on the social. Loves a tipple. I think he's great value on a social. This is where we'll see the difference between our intelligence. Robin Hood's my number 2, mate. Arrows. Neither of you thought about a line-out option. Robin Hood, ping every time. He's the Tommy Aldridge of Nottinghamshire. I've got Henry VIII at number 3. Again, loves a high tackle, so watch your head. And what did Henry VIII say when he went to the bathroom? Don't get your hand uncaught. Right, moving on. Number 4, I've got Jesus.
Jesus, wowzer.
Good shout. Very nice.
His dad will fix the game, so if we're worried about it, we'll get sorted.
There's no mythological characters.
Oh, that's a theological discussion for next time, Pridgey boy.
Oh, that's a debate in its own.
Come on,
throw the grenade in.
Don't be like that. Number 5, Henry Ford. Brings an engine, doesn't he?
As long as it's black.
Be thinking.
I like it.
Right, number 6, Oliver Cromwell. Industrious.
Nice.
You know what that means, Harry? Do you want to explain that joke to us?
I've just never heard of him, so.
Yeah, do you want to explain that?
Never heard of Oliver Cromwell?
No. Are you going to explain the joke, Charlie, or are people just going to get it and people aren't going to get it?
I think the majority of people will get it. If people don't get it, please write in. Anybody who does, we'll divide into 2 changing rooms this week at training. People who got the joke can come and have, an adult conversation, and we'll put some Nickelodeon on in the other room. And if you don't know, you can go and watch it in there and look windows. Number 7, I went with Charles Darwin. He's always evolving as a player.
Yeah, that's good. That is very good. Yeah.
Thanks, Bridge. Right, Genghis Khan. Did you need me to explain that joke as well, Harry?
No, I understood that one.
You okay with that one?
Yep.
You got it?
Theory of evolution. Thank you.
Well done, mate. Okay, on what islands? Where did he do that?
So just a quick one. How do you think him and Jesus will get on?
Contrasting.
Conflict of interest there.
Yeah, there is. But one will argue, well, the creator created everything and then created within that evolution. I think that's one for the team selector to look at.
That's a great shout.
I don't do management. I'd be more worried.
I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
I'd be more worried about the Zelensky and Putin that you've both got on the field personally. I think.
No, I haven't got Putin. I did not. I can't believe it.
I've got a Putin and Trump, so.
Yeah, Putin is good.
Yeah.
Right, number 8. I've got Genghis Khan at 8. Marauding.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. Small, yappy, and aggressive. Napoleon at 9. Number 10, I went Sun Tzu. Number 11, I've got Da Vinci flying down a wing.
Nice.
Very good.
Bridge is getting bored of my shit jokes now. I've just heard a big sigh coming through. big sigh.
No, keep going. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, let's see. Right, 12 and 13, I went a bit more serious. I'd have a genuine defensive 12 and 13 here. I've gone for King Arthur and Alexander the Great. That's my centres combo.
Nice.
Yeah. Very good centres, that.
Yeah, Kings down the middle.
Any jokes to go with it or not? Any jokes?
No. I took that one genuine. I did have a think about it, but I couldn't find anything to latch onto, so I just moved on.
Yeah.
Number 14, I've got Tesla electric.
You've chosen a car manufacturer as your 14.
Well, now it's your turn to be stupid, Pridge. Nikola Tesla.
I don't know. Gonna have to say I don't know.
Harry, you know Tesla?
You've just said Tesla.
Yeah.
Tesla or... Go on, explain.
He was the actual inventor of the Tesla coil and one of the first scientists in the field of electric. It's like a world famous physicist.
Let me have a look.
Oh, lads, are we for real?
Yeah, but you just said Tesla, so we just presumed the car company, not the actual person.
That's because your
attitude
beat something out. That's. I can't believe we're having to Google. Sorry, I'll say Edison then, shall I? Do you know?
Oh,
Edison,
okay? Yes, Edison Tesla.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Or I can dumb it down even more and say lead singer of AC/DC.
Yeah,
No?
good for you, mate. Every day's a school day, mate. Every day's a school day.
Good team,
Wow.
nevertheless, Charlie. Good team, nevertheless.
There we go. I've not finished yet. I got my 15.
You haven't finished yet.
Oh, I thought
I
that
got my
was 15.
15.
Sorry.
Famous for cutting hard lines, and I think he'd be good at other things. I went for Sigmund Freud because he's very good at the mental aspect of the game.
Good luck getting to concentrate for 80 minutes.
Yeah. Look, he's gonna go hard for the first 30, and then it's gonna fizzle out, I think, but it'll be fun. This week, well, we've been told that actually some family members have been watching the show as well. I know that Curtis and his family, shout out Curtis and his family, have been watching the show. And
just a quick one: is Liam watching it with the family as well, or is him and his sister upstairs today?
Oh no! You see, actually, that's not. I have to step up now and say that is not what we want from this podcast. I got a lift with Curtis the other day, and he said that we've been speaking about his sister. I don't think we did speak about his sister. I don't think I've ever mentioned. I actually don't know who she is either, but I never met her. But that was the request from the Curtis family to please let's be respectful. And I will point out as well, in his Tesla, which we've now learned is also a scientist. Curtis's father, Big Paul, took me back from Stephen last week. So thanks, Paul. Lovely to be part of your family.
Amazing. We'll end it there then.
I'd like to point out, in none of that was there any irony. I'm trying to be serious. I'm trying to keep those. That's 4 subscribers in that family, and we need all 4 of them.
They are all our 4.
This is a genuine public service announcement. Thank you for your patronage.
Yep.
And thanks, Paul, for the lift home last week.
It's a family club.
It's a family club.
Sound.
As Freud would say, yeah.
Well,
so do we shout anybody else?
Yeah, I'll give a little shout out for Saturday. So kickoffs have gone from 3 p.m. to 2:15 now. So all kickoffs are 2:15. The first team are travelling away to Loughborough. The second team are at home to Cleethorpes, and the third team are at home to Lincoln. So if you're about in Rasen, you want to see 2 teams at home, please feel free to go down to Willingham Road, LN8 3RE, for a 2:15 kickoff to watch the 2s and 3s. And any travelling supporters wanting to come to Loughborough, any support is always appreciated.
And that way you can be in the car for the England game on the way home. You can be on the motorway while England are playing, is it?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a no-brainer, lads.
Yeah. But Charlie, Pridge, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
I don't know if you noticed, I put this shirt on to try and be posh for you today, Pridge.
I didn't know what to wear. I just got a hoodie, mate. Got a hoodie. Down with the kids. Yeah, it is. But no, thank you very much. You're doing a great job. And fingers crossed for Saturday.
Yes,
and shout out Ed Nichols' Farrier service.
Yeah. Allenby Stevenson's carpet and flooring.
We need a new van. Ed Nichols needs a new van, so get your checkbooks out, boyos. If you want to be mentioned in the same breath as Rain and Pain, Lord Pridgeon, and Market Rasen, get your sponsorships in for next year.
Yep, agreed. Thank you, and thank you, and good night.